Hey YouTube, what's up? Yeah, uh, today I'm gonna be. I wrote a script, Uh, always wanted to be YouTuber, so hey, first YouTube video for me, baby. So yeah, this is the Spider-Man review. My goal, uh, my goal with this review is not to highlight and critique the failings of Spider-Man. Instead, the direct opposite. The review series concept is to critique masterworks. Because the thing I have an issue with is people punching downwards. Like, in short, just like reviews where people critique what's already been critiqued. Like, talking about negative stuff for stuff that everybody's talked about negative stuff for. And glazing what already has been glazed. I want to be respectful. No, I don't. I don't want to be respectful. Because to respect, that means, man, not to respect, but to show love. That's what I'm trying to go for. Because I'm accepting the flaws, because nothing is perfect. So, instead of kicking a dead horse, I'm gonna be talking about stuff that's popular. I'm gonna talk about positives and negatives. Of course, I guess I should probably go up with, the first point. Spider-Man as a concept fails. It doesn't mean it sucks or is bad. Spider-Man as a concept was created to never have an established end. The point is not a critique because so are sitcoms as well as many cartoons from back in the day. When nothing changes, nothing new happens, and that is not exactly a bad thing, but when a story-driven narrative is never given the chance to conclude, but instead reset to the status quo, it fails to do anything. Because instead of telling a story, Spider-Man suffers only to get out of it, sometimes with a cost. Just to suffer all over again. There's no purpose. The concept of Spider-Man is what I'm critiquing today. Yeah. So it was the concept of Spider-Man is the relatability, and that with great power comes great responsibility. A narrative that does not satisfy itself is not a bad narrative. The point is that he struggles, but he takes the long way instead of the simple shortcuts in life. That's good. Distance is only distance if it goes somewhere. Spider-Man got married just to not get married, then he never got a chance to get married ever again. Until a spin-off showed up, where in the Ultimate Universe he gets the spider bite after marriage, and then he dies. An unsatisfying narrative has purpose to it, but it only fulfills its purpose when you let it end. It lets you question a man who does dumb decisions only for those to get retconned. When he has a chance to make millions, he gives them up for maybe even a life. That is admirable, and it is okay to feel frustration because that is part of his character study. He was designed to be angsty. Though not directly pointed to as a flaw, he cheats just like how MJ cheated with Paul. Not exactly cheated, but these points are never really brought up as a character study, as an ingrained part of romance in American media where you ask what really is true love. Instead, he is rebooted, changed via personality, and instead, via changing, is made into a more rounder character who never even resembled the concept he was. Someone without problems. What is the point of a concept if even the writers leave the concept for a newer one, a kinder one? The original concept of Spider-Man was that he was supposed to be angsty. Basically, that's why it was the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because that was his character arc. He was supposed to go through a lot of stuff, and then he became a kinder version. but because of that, he was also supposed to be very disrespectful to a lot of people. And nowadays, he's more of a fanboy of whoever comes across his mind. Like, he was supposed to become an adult. Like, he's a hero, not a sidekick, but he's treated more like a sidekick nowadays. But yeah, that's something else. There's also another tangent I want to go on, but I'm following my script right now. So, the point of Spider-Man was someone who was like Logan or Punisher, but where they failed, he created a positive ripple. He became a kinder, and in turn, the best moments are when his kindness is rewarded. Villains redeem, or the townspeople hide his identity. You know, when something ends, you can conclude, but like Spider-Man as a concept was created to never end in the first place. That's the biggest flaw with Spider-Man, or not really, is that he was just made to be marketable. The original ending even got retconned so that he would never get married, because that is when the show was, or the series was supposed to end. But yeah, being depressing is depressing. Uh, I love Spider-Man just because something fails as a concept because it is stripped of having a narrative in the first place, the amount of times it doesn't end and keeps going. Oh wait, I read it wrong. I still love Spider-Man, the series that were given the chance to give Spider-Man a narrative, like TV series or comic runs. I plan on watching them and I know I will love them. That's true. Like how Ultimate Spider-Man is about the narrative of Spider-Man's freedom and his own choice as a hero, not of the government. Of course, he dies, but that is the point. He died doing what he loved and in control. Before the sad part, Spider-Man is a hopeful hero because he loses, and the films made a, a lot of buck on him having had a narrative to them. But that is also where a lot of the media fails in the comic aspect because he's never allowed to end. Instead, it's just constant retcons. But I talked about it. I like Spider-Man because in a way he is me. That's true. I want to be Spider-Man and to make a hero so fun that you want to play his games. Let him make a choice that stays. That is when his actions ripple into a positive curve. That is inspiring. That is an issue I have with the concept of Spider-Man too. The negative curve, unless it serves a point. Most of the times, it lacks that. Because when something bad happens and nothing comes out of it, and a new bad thing happens, what's the point of the first one? It's just, it's just, it's just an episodic series that's just sadness porn, honestly. I mean, that's why I haven't read the stuff. But from what I've experienced and what I have read, it's true. I just like Spider-Man, even if I have faults. No reason I can explain. I just like him still. Of course, he has issues, but as a concept, I like him. Ultimate Spider-Man is an example of that positive curve, where yes, bad things happen. Spider-Man, the concept of him both to Peter and the people around him, it lets him help the people around him, and in turn they help the people around them until it comes back to them helping Spider-Man. That's what I like. Like how Sandman helped Spider-Man in the Spectacular series. He wasn't a bad guy, he was just robbing for his daughter. How by letting the small moments shine, it shows you how much of a ripple he has on his town. The narrative serves more of a purpose because yes, it is vanilla and how satisfying it is. People love payoff even if the story doesn't end. No, that's true. The point of this review in general, the start, it was. I'm off script right now. It was basically just a lot of people punch down, glaze, critique what's already been critiqued negatively. And I feel like a true masterwork should be critiqued because nothing is perfect. That's one issue I have with, for example, Gordon Ramsay. Is yes, he's a good chef, but like, what's the point of being a chef that can't create something new, but instead just fall is his biggest hindrance is tradition because that's how he learned. But if he can't critique that tradition, what's the point, you know? A lot of his stuff is just like, oh, you're doing it a wrong way. Cooking can't be done a wrong way, it's just experimentation. If you take experimentation out of that, what's the point? And then, I guess, last bonus review or critique, I guess, is the thing about anybody can be Spider-Man because you know, if I was Spider-Man and I had biowebbing, sure, I could probably be Spider-Man, but like, what are the chances that the people that became Spider-Man are smart engineers and the smartest characters in the Marvel Universe? I don't think I'm the smartest character in the Marvel Universe if I was there. I mean, I barely passed my grades. I did, but you know. That was my review, baby. Out.